Have you ever heard of a god with pale skin, a beard, and a promise to return from across the sea? A deity so mysterious he's been described as a divine creator, a fallen king, and even an alien visitor? This is the enigma of Quetzalcoatl, one of the most fascinating figures in Mesoamerican mythology. But who was he really? Was he a god, a legendary man, or something not of this earth? Let's go back more than 1,000 years into the heart of ancient Mexico. The name Quetzalcoatl means feathered serpent, half bird, half snake. This hybrid form symbolized both the heavens and the earth. He was a god of wind, learning, and creation. In Aztec mythology, he helped create humanity and gave humans the gift of maize, corn, the lifeblood of Mesoamerican civilization. But Quetzalcoatl wasn't just worshipped by the Aztecs. The god appears across many cultures. The Toltecs, the Maya, the Mixtec, all had versions of the feathered serpent. His worship spanned centuries and empires. According to legend, Quetzalcoatl once walked among humans. He was a priest-king of the Toltecs, a wise and benevolent ruler who banned human sacrifice and taught his people art, science, and agriculture. But, something happened. He was betrayed, or possibly tricked into shame. Humiliated, he left his kingdom and sailed east on a raft made of serpents, vowing to one day return. Now here's where things get strange. When the Spanish conquistadors arrived in the early 1500s, some indigenous people thought their leader, Hernán Cortés, was Quetzalcoatl returned. Pale skin, beard, came from the east. The timing matched the prophecy. Was this just coincidence, or had the ancient Mesoamericans really seen someone like Cortés before? Some theorists have suggested something radical. They say Quetzalcoatl wasn't a god, or a man, but an ancient astronaut, a being from another world who visited Mesoamerica in ancient times. His white skin, tall frame, and high knowledge could suggest a non-native origin. The fact that he brought advanced knowledge, mathematics, astronomy, medicine, also fuels the theory. Why else, they ask, would civilizations separated by thousands of miles, like the Maya and Egyptians, build pyramids and worship similar sky gods? But mainstream scholars reject this. They say the myths of Quetzalcoatl are symbolic, that he represents light, knowledge, and civilization, not a visitor from another planet. And the idea that ancient people needed aliens to explain their achievements? Many see that as disrespectful. Yet some details are hard to ignore. For example, depictions of Quetzalcoatl in ancient codices show him emerging from a flying disc or riding in a serpent boat that glows. He was said to have come from the stars, and to have promised one day he would return from the sky. Could these be, metaphorical descriptions of ancient spacecraft, or were they actually spiritual visions recorded in symbolic language? And what about the striking physical descriptions? Mesoamerican people didn't have beards, so why would they create a god who had one? Then again, some say this just shows how myths evolve. Stories shift and change. Perhaps Quetzalcoatl's image was reshaped over time, especially after contact with Europeans. Maybe the Spanish reinterpreted the myth to suit their conquest. Maybe Quetzalcoatl was never meant to be seen as a real person at all. But there's more. In some versions of the story, Quetzalcoatl battles his dark twin, Tezcatlipoca, the god of the night and sorcery. Their cosmic struggle reflects light versus darkness, knowledge versus chaos. This duality exists in myths around the world. Could Quetzalcoatl be part of a greater mythological archetype, a universal figure found across human history? Or could he be a memory of an actual being who walked among our ancestors? The city of Teotihuacan, where Quetzalcoatl's temple still stands, was once the 6th largest city in the world. But honestly, we don't know who built it. The people called it the City of the Gods. Even the Aztecs, who found it centuries later, believed it was built by divine beings. Inside the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, archaeologists have discovered something extraordinary. Hundreds of mysterious metallic spheres beneath the pyramid, made of clay but coated in a material that reflects light, like gold. Were they offerings, ritual objects, or, something else entirely? And deep below the temple, a hidden tunnel was found, stretching toward what may be a royal tomb or a sacred chamber. Could it hold clues to Quetzalcoatl's identity? We may never know for sure. The line between myth and reality blurs more each time we dig deeper into the past. Quetzalcoatl remains one of history's great enigmas. Whether god, man, or alien, his legacy lives on. In stone temples, in ancient texts, in the stories passed down through generations. Maybe that's the point. Maybe Quetzalcoatl wasn't just a figure from history, but, a symbol of our eternal search for wisdom, balance, and the unknown. So the next time you hear the wind rustling through the trees or look up at the stars and wonder who else might be out there, remember the feathered serpent, and really ask yourself, who was Quetzalcoatl, really?